So we arrived, and that was fine.
Was this the flight? This is flight back.
This was the flight to there.
You fly right.
This is
okay,
right in the beginning.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So we got there, and everything was fine. And it was about 4 a.m. in India. So we actually got from the airport to this new house that we've built there to stay there. Every time we go. Which is brand new, and we just finished building it, and so it was really nice and new and modern.
Right.
So that was great. And the next day, we had like a housewarming ceremony.
Where you turned all the radiators on at the same time.
Sure, Isaac. I mean, there's no radiators. It doesn't exist in India. Ceiling fans. There's ceiling fans everywhere. That's the heat control.
I imagine heat's not an issue.
Yeah, heat is definitely not an issue. And so basically, whenever you build a new house in India, you have like this housewarming ceremony thing.
Right.
So you get the guy from the local temple to come over, and you invite your family around. And so we had loads of family that I'd never known in my life before that were coming. And they were all there. And this involved a few things, okay? So bear in mind, I'd just been on a horrible, like, scared flight where I thought I was going to die. I'd already been bitten by mosquitoes overnight like 12 times. My eye was still horribly red and swollen, and I was sitting there, and this guy came, and my mum and dad like had to sit down, and they lit this fire. So what this involved was lighting a fire inside the house.
Right.
That basically gave me an extent of carbon monoxide poisoning, and probably poisoned everyone because there was just smoke everywhere. And then we had all these like freshly painted walls that was just getting blackened by smoke and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is great.
What
and
did you expect,
like,
Nick? They were going to warm the house.
Well, what happened
fire.
next was very unexpected. So one of the things that this involved was these like priest equivalents basically told me to put my right hand out in a cup shape.
Okay.
And they poured this liquid in my hand. Okay. Now this liquid was in a used Coke bottle. And when they opened the used Coke bottle and poured this liquid into my hand, it smelled. It was horrible.
Was it actually like Coca-Cola?
It was yeah. It was an unsealed Coca-Cola bottle, Isaac. That's the plot twist. Indian Coke, the worst. But they poured this stuff, and it smelled of animal. Like if you go up to a horse, Isaac, and you just sniff it.
Yes.
This is what this liquid smelled like.
This is actually a good comparison, Nick. I live near a field in which there are horses.
Just disgusting animal. And my dad was like, yeah, you have to drink it. And they just kind of motioned that I have to drink it. So I was like, okay. I just kind of drunk it without thinking. And it was one of the most vile tasting things I've ever
I can imagine.
In my life. It was terrible. And my mum kind of was looking very amused. And I go up to her and I was like, what is that? And she just kind of slowly waned me into what this was. And she goes, whenever this has happened in my life, I've always pretended to drink that. And I just kind of look at her and she goes to me, you've just drunk cow's piss. So I look at her and I just kind of was like, come again?
I've always pretended to do that.
And she was like, yes, it's cow's urine. And my brother was just laughing his ass off, and all my cousins were laughing as well because they all like have the same philosophy of just avoid it.
Right.
And so I was just like, I was just like
I
standing
love that nobody
there,
told
right?
you this.
So here's the scenario, right? I've been bitten by like 100 mosquitoes.
Right.
I'm tired because I'm horribly jet lagged, and I woke up at 6 a.m. India time, which is 1 a.m. our time.
Right.
So I'd woken up at 1 a.m. My eye was swollen like a tomato, and I've just drunk cow's piss. So it's like, yeah, great holiday. It's brilliant. So
wow.
I was glad when that was over, and I poured like a bottle of Listerine down my throat because that was the only thing that could help. And even after that, there's like an after. Anyway, so that had happened. So ladies, next time you kiss me, just know. Just know.
Basically, what we're going to do is every girlfriend Nick ever has, we're going to send this video to them.
This video, yeah, just send a snippet. I have drunk cow's piss. So that was horrible. And so, yeah, that was something that happened. So that was great. So the next day, we actually flew to a different part of the country. Okay. It was probably the shortest flights I've ever been on. There were 25-minute flights.
Wow.
Which was really short. And I'd loaded up. I used YouTube's offline download feature that they have there to download the SF2 videos that I've not watched yet. And I couldn't get through 2 of our videos without this plane landing first. That's how short it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was properly short. And the reason is because we had this little break because my dad's colleague has a friend who basically let us stay in this empty house that he owns for a couple of days.
Right.
And it's probably the nicest house I've ever been to. It was huge. I've got pictures of it. I'll send you them as these events unfold. And it was
you have to organize them or timestamp them.
I will, yeah, I will have to. I'll try and get them in order.
Okay.
And it was this huge plot of land. It was a farmhouse, and there was like the whole area had its own farm, with people growing crops, and people were employed there permanently to just like manage the crops, and there were farm dogs running around.
I like
the best bit.
I know you misspoke, but I love the idea of people being hired to manage the clocks.
The clocks, go around and make sure. I mean, to be fair, that house probably had enough where you needed a person to do that. But yeah. The best bit was, though, is that this was a beachside house. So at the back garden was a private stretch of beach.
Wow.
Which was super nice. But we didn't really use it much because it had a swimming pool. And this swimming pool was the size of like a small leisure centre swimming pool. It was huge. And it was just for us for the whole weekend. It was amazing. And I've always loved swimming pools when we go on holiday. But the problem is whenever we go to like a resort or something, you get in the pool and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get like a freaking workout as athletic body swimming all the stay. And it's going to be great. And then immediately 10 minutes later, the pool gets filled with like 1,000 Russians. That's basically every holiday I've ever been to where we've been to a resort. So it was really nice to have a private pool. And we were there for 3 days. And the first day I just tried it out for like an hour. And then we all got out because it was time to like go to certain attractions and stuff nearby. Because we had like a dedicated driver guy who's like, yeah, I'll take you around. It was really nice. And I was like, okay. So the next 2 days, I'm just going to spend all day in this goddamn massive pool. And it was really nice. So the next day, my dad's like, actually, you can't.
No.
We're gonna go out all day to different places. So reluctantly, I'm like, okay, fine. We'll go out. And so we were out all day, going to different beaches around the place and restaurants and stuff like that. And so I thought in the night, like, tomorrow, it's the last day here. I'm just going to spend this whole day tomorrow in the pool just ruining my arms and legs and getting really fit and awesome. Woke up the next morning, looked in the mirror. The eye was just horribly painful, closed, as red as it's ever been, and like even more of a tomato. And so, like... I couldn't. So everything was ruined. I spent about an hour on this entire stay. That was the whole, like, my whole almost reason of going. That was the main headline for me for this little stay, was that swimming pool. And I spent about 45 minutes in it. And then, so it was this time, it was nearing coming back to England. And I was like, I was getting ready, I was packing, and I was like, I was not looking forward to the flights back.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, this isn't going to be great. I was like, ugh. But you know what? It's going to be fine. You know, it's just flights again. It's nothing. It's not like that happens on the way there's going to happen. And then I go on BBC News, And it's like Emirates 777 from India to Dubai crash lands in Dubai airport, and it's got this picture. I don't know if you saw it on the news.
I didn't know,
but it was quite a big story that this. It was the first accident that Emirates ever had. But this plane, the landing gear didn't come out properly or something like that.
What?
So the plane just crashed into the runway. And it was like a miracle because everyone survived.
All right.
Because planes have a tendency to explode. I don't know if you've seen, but for some reason, whenever planes crash, whatever they crash into seems to swallow them up instead of them just crashing how you'd think a car would. And so I'm really surprised that literally every member on that plane survived. One of the firefighters that fought the fire that came after passed away, so that sucks. But it's a testament to the crew who just got everyone off the plane within like a minute. So that is a really awesome job. But yeah, that plane just crashed into the runway, the landing strip, and it was just this horrible garbled mess. And it was from the same destination to the same from the same departure place to the same destination with the same plane
that you were going on
with the same airline. And so it's like, that's great. So that wasn't very helpful. So I was just kind of on the flight back, just terrified the whole time.
I can imagine.
Just slowly, just like staring at the in-flight entertainment screen, just horribly, just like scared. So on the long haul flight back from Dubai to England, I just got smashed when the crew member came around saying, "Oh, what would you like to drink?" I was like, "Just give me all the alcohol you have." I had like 2 mini bottles of whiskey, a mini bottle of red wine, and a beer, and I was just like afterwards for the next 5 hours of this 7-hour flight. And so I thought, there's not much to do. I've got all of Game of Thrones on my phone,
right?
But I want to watch that when I get home, really, instead of watching them here. So I went on the in-flight entertainment, and Emirates in-flight entertainment is freaking awesome, especially if you're on one of their newer planes. You get these huge screens that are touch screens, and then you get a complimentary like a remote that is also touch screen, so you can choose how you want to control it with the remote that has a touch screen or just the touch screen itself.
Nice.
And they're really cool. So I was browsing the TV shows that they have. And I was just like, and I saw Mr. Robot. Now, have you ever watched?
It's a good show.
Mr. Robot. Okay.
Were you watching season 1?
Yes, I've only watched the first like 6 or 7 episodes.
Oh, it's such a good show.
So I was like, Mr. Robot, okay, I'll put this on. Yep. So I was just like, watching Mr. Robot. And to be honest, it's a little bit of a blur because I was so wasted. But it was really good from what I watched.
Yeah, it is a really good show.
This guy saying, the weird thing is that I went into my mindset when going into this TV show was, this guy is like an android in the future. He's a robot.
Right.
And even when it started, the guy was like, "Hi, I'm a computer engineer." I was like, yeah, he's a robot. Look, he's even talking like one. I don't know if it's because I was really drunk. But I was like, yeah, so this guy's a robot. And he didn't help because he was like, I remember the only person I had was my father. I was like, yeah, that was the guy that created him. He's the guy that built this robot. So, and then when I like looked on the Wikipedia after, when I typed it in on Google when we landed, it said, so I got through 7 episodes thinking this guy was a robot.
I mean, I guess the title is a little
computer engineer who's antisocial. I was like, oh, okay.
I guess they didn't think about people watching the show wasted when they created it.
And he was like, yes, I look at everyone's profile. I was like, yes, he's downloading all that info into his hard drive whenever he looks at them on Facebook and all that stuff. And he's really good at hacking because he's a robot. and he's like his childhood friends. And it's like, yeah, he's got artificial intelligence. He's like, it's great. But yeah, it was great from what I saw.
Yeah,
season I'm not 2 spoil it.
Is on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, because it is an Amazon show, isn't it? Is it an Amazon show?
No, I don't think it is. There's a network, the network that makes it. I think it's I can't remember the network now. It's a network show, but they've got like a deal with Amazon. The Amazon stuff's going. It's going on Amazon
I was surprised because I thought it was an Amazon show, so I was surprised it was there on Emirates in-flight entertainment. But yeah, so that was really good, and that swallowed up the remaining few hours of this flight that I was paranoid as hell on. So that was good.
But you made it back safe. You didn't die on the plane?
No, I didn't die, Isaac.
Good.
Luckily. I mean, if I did, I've resurrected, which is always nice.
It is always nice. When you die, it's always nice to resurrect, you know.
It's true. It's true. The funny thing is, though, is that as soon as I sobered up, about 5 hours later, we immediately hit turbulence. Like, it was all quite smooth. And as soon as I was like, oh, actually, I feel all right now, just boom, turbulence. But yeah, so then we landed, and I came home, and I just kind of went to bed. But yeah. So a lot of ups and downs on this trip.
It sounds like it.
With a few highlights, including I've now officially drunk cow's piss.
I mean, you could tick that off your bucket list, Nick.
Yeah.
Things you have to do before you die. You know, you've done that now. You know, you can't undo it. You know, it's something you can say you've done. I mean, I don't know if that was on your bucket list, Nick. If that was something that you were, you were planning on doing. I mean, you always
things to do before I die. It's not intended to be on there. But hey, I've done it. I'll add it to the things to do before I die.
Just pad the list out a little bit.
But here's some weird quirks about India, right? So you don't get milk in bottles. You get them in bags.
Right.
That's really weird.
Oh, yeah. I've heard like parts of Canada do that as well.
Like yeah, you get milk in bags, which is really impractical because you have to open it and be careful when you pour it.
It does sound,
obviously, once you've opened the bag, you can't put the bag back in the fridge unless you do some voodoo trickery with rubber bands,
right? Which
is what everyone does, and you have to be careful not to let the milk go everywhere. There's a few other things. You see auto rickshaws everywhere, which are like these little 3-wheeled things that are basically like little taxis. And we made full use of Uber there. Uber is massive in India. It's huge. I can imagine. In the main cities.
The roads are as bad as you say they are, I can imagine people not wanting to drive themselves.
Yeah, you don't go too far without seeing a car with a huge dent in it. It's basically a free for all the traffic there. But the thing is that, oh my god, Uber is so cheap. So to get from the airport to a house, it was 550 rupees, which is the equivalent of £5 for a 1.5 hour trip.
Wow.
Which is insane. I couldn't get across the town.
Yeah, I couldn't get to my
to get for that much. It's unbelievably cheap. Just everything in general is very cheap. Even like brand stuff, unless you go to one of the shopping malls, where it's all like westernized and they've got like Western prices to match as well. Everything's very
just to give
cheap.
you that authentic feel, Nick. You know, you gotta have those.
Like if you go to a really
prices.
fancy restaurant, you won't go past spending like £40.
Wow,
for everyone. And so that was cool. But yeah, I came back and I was like, it was nice to sleep in my bed. And not get bitten by mosquitoes.
What are you on about, Nick? You didn't love the mosquitoes? They weren't the highlight of your trip?
Yeah, I mean, my risk of me getting dengue fever and Zika virus, you're great. It's fine.
Oh, you'd be fine, Nick.
I'll be all right. I'll be in hospital for a while. I'd be fine from the waist up, maybe.
Yeah, you'd be fine. It sounds like quite the trip.
Yeah.
It sounds
it was quite the trip.
Quite the eventful
oh my god,
trip.
It's probably the most eventful India trip I've been on, and I've been there a lot. Our house was nice though. It was named after me as well.
Oh yeah,
it's
it said
really
Janky Nick
in
massive glowing letters on the
front. Glowing letters on the front. Yeah,
I imagine it like the Casino Island sign. Casino Island, but flashing.
I like to think that.
I wanted to say Janky Nick as well. That's what I wanted to say on the front. I imagine there's a big house in India with flashing lights. It says Janky Nick.
Yeah, go find it, guys.
Google Maps, check that stuff out. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So that was that, and I came back and I was like, I've got a horribly broken computer and a microphone that doesn't work. So I had to reinstall everything.
People will have seen that if you watched some of the older,
if you watch some of the previous episodes, you'll hear like horrible audio in the background, and you'll see lots of jump cuts from when I blue screens, and it was all a big mess.
Yep.
But yeah. So there you go.